Good evening, District 14 Toastmasters. Welcome to the speech contest training. International is on the move again. I am Joanne Sheets, District 14 contest chair, along with the contest team. Debbie Thompson, Teresa Middleton, J.D. Dirkschneider, Barbara Laracy, Linda Rogers, Trina Mackey, and Denise James. We are delighted that you're here tonight, and tonight is our question and answer session. We are recording this training, so I will read the District 14 photo and video release statement. By attending this meeting training event, I consent and authorize District 14 to copyright, use, and publish any of the images in any format, photographs, videos, etc., taken of me. I understand these images may be used for a variety of purposes and may appear on the District 14 website, social media, promotional materials, or any other media. I also want to share a few Zoom navigation tips. Please mute yourself unless you're speaking. Leave your video on if possible, and you have access to the side-by-side view during the PowerPoint, and everyone can chat individually or privately. Tonight, I want to remind you of the contest dates. As we have said previously, we have completed our Tall Tales contest, and now International is on the move. Areas are to complete their contest by February 28th, and remember that it's in person only. Divisions by March 31st, again in person only, and district at the April 2025 conference, and that's in person only. Now, some divisions may combine their Tall Tales contest with their international contest in March if they desire. These are our trainings. We ask you to take a look at these trainings and bring your questions. And these trainings are still out there, and they're available to you to hopefully help you as you prepare for your area contest, how to have a fabulous contest, how to chair and master a fabulous contest, from there all the way to breaking ballot room ties, speech contest do's and don'ts play, which is absolutely hilarious, and the importance of dodging contest gotchas. In addition, we ask you tonight to attend tonight's training, and we ask you to take the quiz. And we hope that you did that to find out where you are when it comes to your knowledge of contest planning and implementing. So we're going to talk about that tonight. This is our training tonight. We're glad that you're here. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to open the floor to our quiz questions via poll, and we want you to answer them. And at this point, I'm going to turn the lectern over to Debbie Thompson. Debbie, you have the floor.
Thank you, Joanne. So I think for the sake of the recording, let's do the polls. Let's launch the polls. And I'm asking everybody who can to vote. And let's see if you remember the answer. Sometimes even I have to think about it for a minute. And I wrote the question, so excuse me. Linda, if you would launch the poll for this very first question. The chief judge always serves as a voting judge. Yes, true or false? All right. We had several true, but it looked like we had one or two false. Let's go to the correct answer. The chief judge always serves as a voting judge. That is false. And the only reason it is even open because it says always serves as voting judge, it's because at the area, it says officials cannot serve in more than one role for the same contest. At the area when practical, I would say as a best practice, never have the chief judge vote. They cannot vote in the division district, quarterfinal, semifinal, or finals levels. So that is something, and I've heard of clubs doing that, but I would say as best practice, your chief judge has so much to deal with. It's a good idea for them not to be voting and have to pay attention to all of the speeches. Any questions about that? All right, Linda, let's go on to question number 2. All right, this is a long one. What I will do is read it out to everyone, and then we'll launch the poll and see if you can answer it. To be eligible for an international speech contest, a contestant must be a paid member of a club of the area, division, and district in which they are competing. There is no qualification beyond being a paid member. Number 2. Number 3, they have earned certificates of completion in levels 1 and 2 of any path in the Toastmasters Pathway Learning Experience, or they've earned a Distinguished Toastmaster Award. So that is the qualifications for education awards. Number 4, be a member of a club in good standing, and that means at least 8 paid members. Number 5, answers 1 and 2 only, be a paid member and have their education awards. Be a paid member and there's no qualification beyond that. Number 6, answers 1, 3, and 4, be a paid member, have earned their education awards, and be a member of club in good standing. Or answer number 7, answers 1 and 3 only, be a paid member and have earned your certificates in education. All right, Linda, if you would launch that poll, please, ma'am. So it looks like, very good. Everybody got this one right. All right, so there are 3 things you have to do to be a competitor in the international speech contest. Pay dues, your club is in good standing, but it's also, thank you, Linda, sorry. It is also that you have education awards completed that it requires. This international is the only contest that has any kind of education awards. And I believe it's probably because that one goes all the way to the World Championship, and they want to make sure that you have at least some Toastmaster experience before you compete at that level. All right, very good. Our next poll question, number 3, is, at the division contest, is it okay for a judge to be a member of the same club as the contestant? The answers are 1 yes, 2 no, 3 maybe. So Linda, would you launch that poll, please, ma'am? And the answer for that one is no, it is not okay at the division level. They must not be a member of the same club. Now, Linda, if you would go to the answer, let's take a look at this. At division and district levels, chief judge, voting judge, any kind of judge, tiebreaker judge, must not be a member of the club in which a contestant is a member. And if you think about this, if you're a member in the same club, you've seen this speaker probably speak before, you know a lot of their mannerisms, you may have even evaluated them before, and it's very difficult, I think, not to be either biased toward them, or you go so far the other way not to be biased that you don't give them a fair shake. So it is okay at the area level. However, as a best practice, I would say try to make sure, if you can, that none of your judges are members of the same club, because I do think it puts an unfair advantage on them sometimes, or a bias where they're not getting a fair shake from you. So, but the answer is no. Okay, Linda, next question. Question number 4. A contestant is automatically disqualified if he steps outside the designated speaking area. And remember, the designated speaking area is the area that has been defined. So we'll launch the poll. It is either true or false. If you would answer that. All right, we have a tie between true and false. So thank you, Linda. What is the right answer? Let's go to the next page. This answer is false. And during your briefings, you should tell both contestants and judges that if someone steps outside the designated speaking area, judges can deduct points if they feel like the contestant had an unfair advantage in using the designated speaking area. It is a rule that they are not supposed to go outside of the designated speaking area, and it has to be defined to everyone so they understand. Typically at a district level, it is the stage area, but it may be defined differently. If you feel like it is distracting that they move outside of the designated speaking area, or they get an unfair advantage when everybody else followed the rules and they didn't, came out into the crowd and made connections that other people couldn't, you feel like that's unfair, then you can take points away, but they are not automatically disqualified. Okay, Linda, next. Okay, poll question number 5. This is the scenario. The club has an official contest with only one contestant. That contestant goes over time and is disqualified. Answer the question. 1, it is okay for the club to send someone else to the contest. Number 2, the club is not able to send another contestant to the next level. Number 3, it is up to the contest chair to decide. And number 4, the club can send another contestant only if they are in good standing and have 8 paid members. So Linda, if you'll launch that poll for us. So the answers that came in are number 2, the club is not able to send another contestant. That's 50% of our answers. And then 50% said the club can send another contestant only if they are in good standing. All right. So we had a 50-50 there. Let's see the correct answer. All right, the answer is number 2. A club cannot send someone else to the next level. And the rule book actually says, occasionally a contest will be held with only one contestant. In such cases, a contest must still be held and the contestant must be disqualified if they do not meet the timing, originality, and eligibility requirements. So if you have an official contest, you must reside by the rules and requirements. If they miss eligibility or originality or timing and they're disqualified, then your club cannot send someone else. And I've advised contestants that if they're the only contestant and they see the red, they need to wrap it up. Don't push it, because if you miss the time, then you would be disqualified. But yes, that is true. So it doesn't matter if they're a club in good standing. It doesn't matter what the contest master thinks. The rule book says no, they cannot send someone else. Okay. Next question. An audience member can file a protest for originality. Is that true or false? All right, we had a quarter of the people answer true to that question and 3/4 answered false. So let's see the answer to this. Can an audience member file a protest? The answer to that is number 2, false. They cannot. The chief judge, and this is straight from the rule book, the chief judge, contest chair, voting judges, and contestants must not consider protests from audience members. That's pretty clear. It states you cannot listen to audience members for protest. Does anyone know what officials can protest, file a protest? The voting judges
And contestants.
contestants. Very good. Contestants and voting judges. All right. Next question. Poll question number 7. Which of the following answers about a tiebreaker judge is correct? Number 1, if you have multiple contestants and an odd number of contestants, you do not need to have a tiebreaker judge. Number 2, if you have more than one contestant, you must have a tiebreaker judge. Number 3, if you have an odd number of judges, you will not need a tiebreaker judge. All right, so either an odd number of contestants or odd number of judges. Answer those. Here's the poll. All right, everybody got it correct, 100%. I'm so glad to see that. The answer is number 2. If you have more than one contestant, you must have a tiebreaker judge. And this is from the rule book. The chief judge selects a tiebreaker judge. At club, area, division, and district contests, there are a certain number of voting judges, but one of them named is a tiebreaker judge. And it is you are mathematically able to have ties even if you have an odd number of judges or an odd number of contestants. We've actually got several examples of that when we had ties at the first, second, and third level place. So you definitely need a tiebreaker judge to help you anytime you have a tie. All right. Next question, number 8. Okay, poll question number 8. The following people are ineligible to be in an international speech contest to compete. Number 1, area director. Number 2, a voting judge, tie-breaking judge, or chief judge at any level in any district at the same contest type in which they would be competing. So if they are a chief judge in the international contest, that means they were competing at international contest. 3, division directors. 4, a presenter of an education session for the event at which the contest will be held, including area, division, and district events, as well as the international convention. Number 5, ineligible are district trio members. Number 6, all of the above. And number 7, only 1, 3, and 5, the area directors, division directors, and trio would be ineligible. So let's see the poll for that. All right. I'm so happy to see this. 100% of you got this one right. It is all of the above. There is actually a long list of people who are not eligible. Thank you, Linda. So it's all of the above. I can't even read that little writing. So I'm not going to cover it, but there's a complete list in the rule book, and it does consider any district leaders, anybody in that kind of position are not eligible. The other thing is education presenters are not eligible if they're at the same, if their contest is at the same event. So we have, for example, we have someone coming up at the convention who was asked to be a presenter, but he also wanted to compete in the contest, and he won the area contest, and their division is not having their division contest until March. So he had to make a decision. Do I want to be a presenter or do I want to compete? And guess what he decided? He wants to compete. So he has turned down the education presentation. The other thing is we had an area director in one of our clubs actually go through the contest and win, but then we found out she was an area director in another district. So she was ineligible. It doesn't matter what district you're in. If you hold any of those positions, and you need to check this out because it is important that we make sure if you're not eligible to compete, then we don't need you to compete. All right. Next one. Question number 9. Okay, question number 9. Judges may help contestants improve by giving them feedback after the contest. Is that true or is that false? All right, we have a fourth of people saying true and 3/4 saying false. Linda, let's go to the next slide. The answer to that is false. This is something that I think a lot of people wonder about, and it's very important. When you are a judge in a contest, everything you do is confidential. And a contest is different than a club speech. A contest speech is different than a club speech. When you are in a club, you are being evaluated, getting feedback. That's a natural part of what Toastmasters does. However, if you're in a contest, this is more formal. It has specific rules. So what I tell people, if they want to get feedback, if they're a contestant and they want feedback on their speech, they need to find somebody in the audience to get feedback from who is not an official. I've had people come up to me when I was a judge and say, can you just tell me what I need to do better? And I say, I'm sorry, I can't. That is all confidential. It is something that you are not supposed to do as all of that information is confidential. So just tell them to find someone else to give them feedback, that you cannot do that at that point. All right. Our last and final poll answer is number 10. If the contestant arrives late to the contest after the person conducting the contest has been introduced, she will be disqualified from competing. The answers are number 1, true, number 2, false, and number 3, it's up to the chief judge and the contest chair to decide. So Linda, if you'll launch that poll for us. All right. We did it again. 100% true. That is absolutely the answer. Let's see. All right. As we said, the answer to this is absolutely true. If the contestant is not present when the person conducting the contest is introduced, the primary contestant is disqualified and the alternate officially becomes the contestant. Now, there is a way that they can compete, but it has to be that they had arrived, let's say, reports to the contest chair upon arrival. And I got to thinking about this. If they reported to the contest chair after all, this means that they missed the briefing or they missed the time given to the contestants to arrive, but they got there before the contest the contest master was announced. So they have to let the contest chair know that they are there. They have to have all of their paperwork turned in. That's very important. And that's something that you can do in the briefings. Make sure you get all of the paperwork so you don't have anyone worrying about this. And if you're an area director, it's just a great idea to get all this paperwork in as soon as you can so you're not having to worry about getting it from anyone. And then finally, the contestant has to waive their right to a briefing. If they miss the briefing, they have to say, that's okay. And they may miss some really good information that they need to have, but that is how they can compete, even if they are late. But as long as they're before the contest master is announced. All right, so that concludes our session on the polls. And I think at this point, we are going to open the floor to answer your questions. It's Q&A time. Okay, and you can stop.
Debbie,
Yes, ma'am, you can stop spotlighting me.
it needs to be made clear that the alternate of the person who misses the introduction, if that secondary person is there, but they too have to be there when the contest master, before the contest master has been introduced as the alternate. They're there and all their paperwork's done and waive their right to their briefing, so that they can just step in. Am I right on that?
That is correct. And I think a lot of times we don't necessarily look at alternates that way. You know, they can come to the briefings, but we just need to make sure that if the original contestant is disqualified, then alternate can go in. Yeah.
If I could make a comment on that too, it raises that sticky situation of making sure that none of the judges are a member of the club that an alternate belongs to also. And it's okay if the primary contestant who arrives late or doesn't arrive at all and the alternate are only in that one club. But if your alternate is a member of more than one club, you know, you have to make sure your judges are not members of that additional club too.
All right. That can be extremely tricky if you have a lot of people late and you have a lot of alternates. You're right, Linda, because you've got to research all of that and make sure they're not members of the same club, especially at the division district
Yes.
level. All right. Any other questions or clarifications? Ron and Janice, good to see you. Do you have any questions for us? Yes, ma'am, Miss Janice. Oh, did you have a question? You just waved me.
No question, just waving.
All right. Are you all having contests or have you already had your contest for this term?
The 22nd.
Okay.
We're having the area contest.
Okay. Very good. Ron, how about you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you've got a couple of folks in here. Toastmaster James, he's leading the charge. It's coming
Oh,
up. Yes.
great. She's already told us she's having it, so.
Yes. I do have a question.
Sure.
The judges training that's here in Augusta on Saturday, who's running that?
That training will be JD Dirk Snyder and myself.
All right.
I'll be home. I'll be there, and Barbara too.
We'll have
All right. Okay.
many
Great.
members of our team are going to
I
be
will
there.
be there.
I'll be there as well. And that's my birthday, but I will be there.
Ooh,
Oh my goodness, Trina, thank you. Happy birthday.
yay.
Ron,
right.
if you could help us push that though, I don't think we have
Yes,
a lot of people signed up from Augusta yet.
that's what, yes.
It's okay, definitely, it's going to be a great training and hopefully answer a lot of your questions about judges. And we want to promote, one of the things we're trying to do, Ron, with this training is start a list of trained judges so that you all have the ability, even, you know, I ideally have it on the website that you all can go to the website and look for people that might be willing to help you, but you also know they're trained. And the
Yes.
cool thing is we've got a lot of new members that have never been to a contest, don't know anything about it. And we would love to get them excited about contests and trained so they can help with the process. And so I think it's really important to get a new generation of judges trained. So we'll have excellent contests. It's so important that we send the right people to the next level.
Excellent. All right.
Division E is having their combined area international speech contest on Saturday, the 22nd. We have one contestant from each of our 4 areas that will be making sure that they meet time on that day to
Okay,
advance to our division level contest on March the 15th.
very good. All right. Do we have any other questions? So what did you guys think about the poll? Did you like that kind of?
Yes, challenging.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what,
Had to think, definitely.
you have to think, and I understand because there is so much in that rule book. And sometimes it tends to kind of cross. I have to pull up the answers myself because it's just so much to remember. But I think as you start to learn and as you participate in contests, all of this becomes so much easier to do, and you realize that we are trying to do things to make it a fair contest. That's one of the primary reasons for so many rules, but it can be very, very confusing.
These polls that are launched in Zoom are totally accessible. And the Google form that you did the quiz on is also totally accessible. So a blind person can't use their blindness as an excuse.
Very good. So Ron, this is something, or everyone, have your area directors take it. There's no judgment in it, but understand if there are areas that they don't know, the quiz will let you know if you answered it wrong and give you the right answer. So it's all meant to be a very educational process that you're learning from it. It's not meant to judge anyone or say, well, you didn't get any right. But the whole point is that we're educating people so they do know. And that's why that if you get it wrong, you get the answers, and you a lot of times get straight from the rule book what it says.
Sometimes I think that looking at contest judges can be intimidating. And others may think, well, I've not been in Toastmasters that long. I don't think I can do as good as they can. So I think this training is a really good opportunity to break that intimidating barrier.
Yes, very good, Denise. I think so too. And like we said, we need a new generation of judges. Gen Zs and X's and whatever it is now.
That just means we're all getting older.
All us baby boomers need to step aside.
I think the next one is an alpha.
Miss Janice put a statement in the chat, not a question, but she's with Division H and Area 84. Miss Janice, so is Area 82 also having their contest on the 22nd?
Sorry. Yes.
Well, I was a little disappointed to see that though, because it's the same date as our training. So unfortunately, a lot of people will be at the contest. But I hope we will have it in Savannah. I hope we will have some people that can attend.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? I think I have. All right.
8:41 p.m. Has anyone watched any of the videos that were recommended?
No, I have not yet. I have to go do that soon.
Janice, I think you will find them to be very helpful. They're full of information, a lot of what we talked about tonight, and it will help you as you all are preparing to plan and execute your area contest. So if there's anything that we can do to help you answer questions as you prepare and as you execute, let us know so that we can do that. And I'm going to say this to everybody. Don't forget your rule book. The rule book is your contest Bible. Take it with you, either on a device, or as for me, I don't know if you can see this or not, but my rule book is right here in my hand. It's old-fashioned with a paper, underlining with a pen, because you can't remember everything that's in there, but have it available as you are planning your contest and on the day of your contest in the event of something popping off.
You can also save it in your phone, your iPad, and
Yes.
you can also launch it through Safari and go to the table of contents and click and get to the section that you need to look in pretty quickly.
And
I always have it on my laptop so that I can search, because that's a good point to make.
Mhm.
Sometimes it is extremely difficult to find things, and you have to know keywords. So I take it in my laptop, I have it up, and then if I need to search something like protest or something that may not happen very often, I can go straight to the rule and read over it.
And Debbie put in the flyer for the judges training in the chat. So Janice or Ron, if y'all haven't gotten that before, that is in the chat for you.
Oh, Ron already RSVP'd.
You have been served.
I actually did put that in my email. You've been summoned.
I think we might have scared some people though. It's not real.
Some of those videos that are on the YouTube playlist, training playlist, are quite entertaining as well as educational.
And they are.
And Ralph Medley said that you learn more when you enjoy it, when you're having fun.
Well, if there are no more questions, Linda, we will go to our next slide. Again, I just want to remind you of what we just mentioned, the training videos. We included the 24-25 speech contest trainings that we've held so far. And one of the ones that's coming, and we'll talk about it again in just a second, is 8 ways to get kicked out of a contest. Now, Debbie presented this at both TLIs, but if you missed it, we're going to record it at some point and post it on as one of the trainings on this video list. 8 ways to get kicked out of a speech contest. So be sure to watch these training videos. They will answer a lot of your questions. Again, they're chock full of information, and some of them are hilariously funny. So you'll enjoy it as you're learning. I want to remind everybody again that the D14 site is still under construction, but you can find on the website the contest rule book, the International Speech Contest Kit. And in that kit are the updated forms that you will need for the speech contest, the international speech contest. There are also speech contest FAQs. We also added the District 14 contest FAQs as well for the 24-25 year, and we think that those will be helpful to you also. Again, we're still, the D14 site is under construction, and some of the tabs may not work yet, but I think that you'll find that most of what you need is there. If not, email us and we will answer whatever questions you have, or call us and we'll answer whatever questions you have. Be reminded that you are summoned. You should have received a court summons from District 14 about the judges training. We are holding judges training on Saturday, February 15th from 10:30 to 12:30 in Augusta. On February 16th in the Metro Atlanta area at the Snellville Library in Snellville, Georgia, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on February 16th, which is Sunday. And then on February 22nd, which is a Saturday, we will be in Savannah from 10:30 to 12:30. Please come. Now, there's a lot of information that will be shared with you. You'll learn so much. And after you go through the training, there will be an optional 25-minute judge's assessment following the training. And we want to make sure that you are practicing lawful judging. And you get a little bit of bling. You get a pin and a medallion, or a pin or a medallion. So please make sure you sign up for judges training. Please push it in your district and in your division and in your area to come. As Debbie said, we want to have trained judges. That's only going to make it easier on all of us for our club, area, and division, and ultimately our district contest. We appreciate you coming tonight. Thank you, Ron and Janice, for coming tonight. We hope that we've answered all of your questions, and we hope that this information has been helpful to you. We are available to you as a contest team if you have questions. Thank you again for coming, and have a marvelous night.